Good Monday afternoon, everybody. My name is Eli Robinson. I am the Chief Trivia Officer here at Water Cooler Trivia. What do we do here at Water Cooler Trivia? We have a weekly trivia game for you, your coworkers, your office mates, your friends, your family, your group, your organization to get together and compete a little bit, learn a little bit, have a good time. You can find us online at watercoolertrivia.com. We have a 4-week free trial. You can find me online at Chief Trivia Officer. All right, so this week's game was themed Tax Day. So here's how we introduced it. Thanks to April 15th following a Saturday and April 17th being Emancipation Day in Washington, D.C. The last day to file taxes in the U.S. this year is April 18th. You're welcome for a friendly reminder. In celebration of Tax Day, each answer will be one letter shorter than the answer before it. We'll start with a 10-letter answer for number 1 and end with a 1-letter answer for question 10, thus taxing away 1 letter each time. Oh, and other than the letters that we drop, you'll see all the same letters in each question, just in a different order. For example, you could see filter as the answer for question number 5 and leader or leader spell out for the answer for question number 6, right? So we're dropping a letter, we're taxing away a letter. We hope you enjoy this more and sneaking your return in under the deadline. Kudos to Jamie, our trivia writer in New Zealand. I challenged everybody to come up with a Tax Day game, and I actually thought this was the most clever, far and away. I thought he did a really good job with it. Okay, so let's look at the quiz results, which I think are a little bit misleading. So when you look at the quiz results, you'll see that the most common score was a 10, followed by a 9, followed by an 8. So you see kind of your standard easy quiz distribution, an average of 8.25 and a median of 9. So if you saw this, your reaction would be, oh, this week's quiz must have been easy. However, we actually saw that the submission rate for this week's quiz was a lot lower than the submission rate for other quizzes. So what actually happens there? So what happens there is a number of people load the quiz, they look at the quiz, they read the rules, they look at the questions, and they're like, oh, I don't get it, these are too hard, I don't have time for this, whatever it may be. And so we lose a lot of people who theoretically, I'm making this theoretically, would not have gotten a perfect score. So while those who submitted got a perfect score at a very high rate, it doesn't mean that this week's quiz was particularly easy. In fact, if you're watching this video and you thought this week's quiz was particularly hard, actually buy that. And so this is what you ultimately end up seeing as the results for the submitters, but I don't think that this quiz was easy by any stretch of the imagination. Okay, so let's look at how the taxation scheme actually worked. For those of you who are familiar with the concept of a word ladder, so a word ladder is like you take, let's say, a 4-letter word, like, golf, and you need to get to a 4-letter word, like, I don't know, menu, and you're only allowed to change 1 letter at a time, and all of the letters in between what you get to have to also be words. I don't even know if that was possible, so don't, read too much into it. So that's a very common word game. Word ladders exist all over the internet. They've existed, I think, for probably 100 years. So we took a word ladder, except we did more of the removing a letter each time. But as you can see, you get this very clean pattern in the answers that actually come. So the first answer to question 1 was Santa Maria, then Samaritan, Tasmania, Stamina, Mantis, Saint, Stan, and Tien. Now, some of these questions and answers were easy on their own and very straightforward, while others of them we would say were a little bit more difficult. Notably, Saint and Stamina probably would have been quite hard if the questions and the way that they were phrased were not already in here. So it's just our way of basically trying to give little bits of hints of how the game actually works. Now, I want to pay special attention to the last question, which was Funafuti, Dili, and Ashgabat are capital cities of countries that begin with what letter of the alphabet? So if you go back here, you can see that the penultimate question, if you were doing the word ladder correctly, was TN. It was the postal code for the volunteer state, which would be TN or Tennessee. So theoretically then, and the way that we design this, you get to a world where the last question either is T or M. You probably know that if you were playing the game correctly. Now, our first version of this game actually had Ankara and Bangkok as the cities that were located. However, we were thinking we can actually make this more fun and more clever if we pick capitals from countries that aren't very known. So I believe we ended up picking the capital of Tuvalu, Timor-Leste and Turkmenistan, which are way less likely for people to know. So we imagine that this game was going on in people's minds, where like, okay, is it T, is it N? And people were kind of doing a generative activity of trying to figure out, well, what countries do I know that begin with T, which ones do I know with N? It's kind of funny, it just happens to be that there's 11 countries that begin with T in English and 11 countries that begin with N. And so you would have kind of in your mind gotten to this, and then at some point, like, you're like, okay, like, I don't know, do I know the capital of Namibia, Nauru, North Macedonia, etc.? And at some point, people had to make a guess. And it turns out, quite impressively, 79% of people guessed T correctly, while 21% of people guessed N, which, like I said, very much credit. We saw it as mostly going to be a coin flip. There were, of course, a number of people who didn't guess T or N, which likely means that they didn't pick up on our taxation scheme and word game and etc. and everything that we were doing. But that's totally fine. We hope that people still enjoyed the game. Once again, my name is Eli Robinson. I'm the Chief Trivia Officer here at Water Cooler Trivia. We hope you enjoyed Tax Day. Next week, we are back, I believe, with spring cleaning. So I look forward to that. Until then, keep on tripping on.